Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I am Satoshi. That is Litecoin Lisa. Was the second half of Truth Tuesday. We just did the first half over on Lisa's channel, so check that out if you're later if you're watching us live, and then after you watch this one, go and check out the first half. How are you doing, Lisa? I know how you're doing. We already covered that.
I'm doing great. Good. Yes, it's summertime. The pool's warm. We've got to spend some time out in the yard. I love it when all my flowers are blooming and the dogs are running around and the kiddos are home and happy, and it's a good thing. Yeah, I love summertime.
Old Will Smith. I watched this interview with Mel Gibson. On Fox, and he showed his movie, and then it was so funny. It was weird.
Like a new one coming out?
Yeah, well, it's one about a priest he just did. Anyway, the guy's like, "Hey, about that smack on from Will Smith with Chris Rock. You think everyone would have been acted different if you were the one that smacked him instead of Will Smith?" And he opened his mouth, and he got cut off. This woman said, "Hey, that's our time, Jesse. Thank you very much."
Yeah,
it was a
smart move. His publicist was a very smart lady.
Cut him off.
Yeah,
on the interview live, and then he was like, I just thought it was funny, and then he like kind of said something else, trying to like get him to stay. And his publicist was like, "Oh, thank you. It's all the time we have. We have to go."
And that's all the time we have. Thank you.
I thought it was pretty funny. Hey, everyone in the chat. Good to see you guys here. Please remember to crush the like button. It really, really helps me out. All the usual fellas are here.
I know. They're such a great crew. I hope everybody's planning on coming to the meetup in Peoria, June 23rd at Peoria Pizza Works. Starts at 3 p.m. and we're just going to hang out. We're going to do the show live, the happy hour show live, and then we're just going to hang out for the rest of the evening there and talk crypto and freedom, and yeah, it'll be great. So I hope everybody can make it.
All right. Well, I wanted to talk about some things.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Pretty crazy things. First, did you look at the thing I sent you the text on?
Oh, which one? I don't have my phone. Did you send it to me or me in public?
It was you in public.
I can't see that on my computer. I have to have my phone, and I don't have my phone right now.
Oh no, I forgot to turn my battery on.
Ever since public went to J6, like he and I can't connect very well, and all my stuff's messed up with him.
It is weird about all those road closes, though.
Yeah, he showed last night. So public sent us a screenshot of like the map of his local area and the turnpike from Jersey to New York. Was that it?
It was part of the Jersey Turnpike.
Part of the Jersey
later, it was higher up in New York. Okay, so it was two different ones. Yeah,
2 different periods. Yeah, and I do remember I was talking with, or I was at a conference. I don't know if this is true or not. I am just repeating what I heard. I was at that David Straight training, and David said that he was talking to Mr. Trump, and that he said, "Well, I can't get to you, but you can get to me," because it was that weekend when Trump was speaking in Waco. And he said, you just get Secret Service to shut down the highway. That's what they do, is they call the police or whatever and shut all the exits or whatever. And then you can go as fast as you want with, what is it? What do they call the beast, or what do they call the machine, the car that he rides in? The beast, right?
Who?
The president. Isn't it called the beast? The big limo that's like bulletproof and goes real fast that he took around the NASCAR track.
Yeah, I didn't know it had a name.
Yes, it has a name. You have to name your cars. You should always name your cars. Anyway, I think
Yes,
it's
it's
the
called
Beast.
the Beast.
Thank you, JDO. Yes. So he could like run the Beast over to see us, but he's like, I can't get to you in time. So if that's a thing, or that's the other theory was if they are moving a bunch of people for a false flag and they needed the highway shut down or for a military op, they needed the highway shut down to transport a bunch of military. I don't know. Lots of theories.
I thought it was very weird. All right.
Somebody with a lot of power had to do that, shut down the turnpike like that.
Excuse me.
You okay?
I sent you stuff on the Shangri-La dialogue.
Oh. Tell me something else.
Okay.
Because it's not triggering a memory, but.
Well, the Shangri-La dialogue, which there's not a lot of secret stuff anymore, it seems. Like Bilderberg and what's the other one?
Oh, those meetings, Davos and all that?
Yeah, Davos. Stuff that they said wasn't real. It was like a conspiracy until they came out, obviously. And now they admit to it. So there's not a lot of these huge clandestine meetings that world leaders were able to do anymore because it's the information age, and they can't get away with it.
That brings up a great point. Somebody said there are over 55 million cell phones in the Ukraine. Why aren't we seeing any live video from that?
We are. There's YouTube channels showing stuff, actual operations, and soldiers are showing stuff. Yeah, there's a lot.
Nothing on Twitter.
But so there's this thing called this meeting that's been going on for years and years with the U.S. and China, and like heads of our spy departments. There's like a secret meeting separately from this big meeting that people kind of do know about, which is the Shangri-La dialogue. But then our spy masters and intelligence communities meet with each other and other bigwigs in our government. They all meet in this secret meeting and have been for like 5 to 10 years. Reuters did a story on it, or the BBC, and they said that we're all buddies. Everyone gets along, and it's like friendly, very weird.
I believe that.
Also weird that we didn't know anything about it. So I thought was kind of a big deal that we found out about that. It's called the Shangri-La dialogue, and it's held in the Shangri-La hotel in Hong Kong?
At Grand Lake, Oklahoma.
Shangri-La.
There's a Shangri-La hotel there.
Singapore. It's held in Singapore.
Yes, you did send that. Yes.
Said that while attending the Shangri-La dialogue, participants, including senior officials from intelligence agencies, also take the opportunity to. I guess I'll click on the story.
Yeah, I remember you sending that.
A dozen of the world's major intelligence agencies held secret meeting on the fringes of the Shangri-La dialogue security meeting in Singapore this weekend. 5 people told Reuters. Such meetings are organized by the Singapore. Let me share it.
That would make sense why they're not interested in meeting Department of was it Secretary of Defense or Department of Defense? They were already to meet with because they're already meeting with the people who have the real information. They're supposed to be meeting with Biden soon.
So
they might deny that meeting as well. It'd be interesting to see.
Such meetings are organized by the Singapore government and have been discreetly held at a separate venue alongside the Security Summit for several years. They said the meetings have not been previously reported. The U.S. is represented by Director of National Intelligence, Avril Lavigne. Avril Hines.
What?
Avril Lavigne. They're the scatter boy. Okay. At the head of her country's intelligence community, while China was among the other countries present. Despite the tensions between the superpowers, Samat Gyul, the head of India's overseas intelligence gathering agency, the research and analysis wing, who also attended, an Indian source, the meeting is an important fixture on the international shadow agenda. They use these fucking words, man. They just put it out there. An important fixture on the international shadow agenda, said one person with knowledge of the discussion. Given the
I
range of
wonder if
countries
any of the
involved,
PSYOP battalion will attend.
no, that's just
Oh,
for us.
that's only civil. That's for us. I'm sorry.
Well, that's
Yeah.
also they're just reservists. It's not a festival of tradecraft, but rather a way of promoting a deeper understanding of intentions and bottom lines. There's an unspoken code among the intelligence services. They can talk when more formal and open diplomacy is harder. So this literally is like all the people that run the spy shit just come together and like have a party with each other. It's a very important factor during times of tension, and the Singapore event helps promote that. All five sources who discussed the meetings declined to be identified because of the sensitivity of the
Because
matter,
they're spies.
because they like to breathe. The spokesman for the Singapore Ministry of Defense said that while attending the Shangri-La dialogue, participants, including senior officials from intelligence agencies, all take the opportunity to meet their counterparts. So anyway, this has been going on for a long time, and nobody knows it. And that's cool, man. That's cool in those countries, but we're not supposed to have that here. Is the United States? We're supposed to have transparency with our government.
Oh, come on. You don't believe that.
I believe we're supposed to.
We're supposed to.
I believe that the whole reason that everything is screwed up as it is because we don't.
Because we don't. Right.
But I thought this is like a big thing. It needs to be looked into. Also, just it's odd that they've been able to get away with this for years and years. It's almost like, hey, let them have Davos, let them know about Bilderberg, and let them get mad at all the celebrities, flying their private jets there and wasting gas, and then bitching
We'll
about
go do
climate.
this real thing over here.
And this is the real thing. Yeah. It shows, like you just said, kind of who's really running things and how they're really running it. They want, like, they don't want to meet with Biden. They know he's just a puppet. Like, this is where stuff really gets done. But it's something I thought it needs to be looked at.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I'm glad you're like, I think the more and more we can dig and find this information and know what's going on, and then we, the people, decide, what system we want to participate in and how we want. I was watching, Jean-Claude had Bix on with these two ladies, and they were talking about silver cycles in the past and kind of what to, and they were reading an email that Uncle Cliff sent, talking about what's going to happen within this next couple of years. And in part of it, they talk about the U.S. going through, I believe it was a period of a year of like some pretty chaotic time where we didn't have a dollar, or we didn't have, maybe said we didn't have money. I'll have to go back and listen to it again. I just listened to it one time and I didn't really take notes or anything. I was just kind of casually listening. But, we talk about that on World Blockchain Roundtable, that right now we value everything in the dollar. And Bix brought up a really great point of like that. There's in Uncle Cliff's data, it talks about $600 silver. Well, that it may be 600 something silver, but it may be talking about that in relation to gold, not the dollar. And somehow he talked about how that made sense. But the dollar could go away. And especially with Gensler's comment where he's even saying like, we've had digital dollar. We have a digital dollar. The US dollar is digital. All these things are digital, and if all that blows up by their own words, by their own making, and it all goes to zero, and we get a chance to start again, and we, the people, decide what it is that we start again with, and the money doesn't have to be in the government or out of the government. Now we do have in our constitution, we have a guide of what is constitutional money, and the measures are there, and weights and measures and all that. So we can choose that. But I think it's really interesting. I saw Elon tweeted today too, Doge for the FTW, Doge FTW, or something like that. And I could see that being like a people's not because, I guess, like token for trade, just
Well, if you
because.
lived overseas ever, or just went overseas,
Yeah, no.
we're one of the only countries that just accepts one thing.
Oh, okay.
Like you can, like in Germany, like, do you accept dollars? Well, we take dollars. We take, German mark. We take French francs.
So you choose, like,
It
yeah,
because if you have tourists, and also you can make a little bit more money because you can say, oh, the conversion rate is this, where you can pad it by 10%, because also it's going to
mm,
fluctuate too. So you literally have the opportunity, or you should,
mhm.
but you can make a little bit more with the conversion rate.
Interesting.
But most countries do that. I mean, if you go to Mexico, do you think they're going to take dollars? Of course, and that's not their usual money. So I think if we went to a system where you take, do you take dollars, you take Doge, Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, whatever, it's all money. They'll have a conversion app or something, and that's the way it'll go. I do want to talk about something else. About you've taken the jab, right? The vaccine. Well, you're
I don't
going.
talk about my private health choices.
Well, you're going to. Everyone's going to do that now, or may have already. You may have already had it if you haven't.
Hmm.
Um, so there's this. I don't know if you know this. They've made the vaccines in general, but specifically the RNA, edible.
I heard that were putting it in meat and
In
stuff.
meat, because that's easy. So you could go. Let's say that there was some kind of tinfoil hat something, or that if the government require. What if the government required all restaurants to only serve beef that had the vaccine or had a vaccine in it?
We
They
don't
would
eat out
have
much
to
anyway.
comply,
Yeah.
or states would have to fight it, and that we'd have a big, like we did already, literally.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but for a long time, for months, until it went to the Supreme Court or whatever, if you went to McDonald's,
Okay.
you would have it. It's in your system.
Mhm.
Um, but this really sinister thing that they're doing now is they're creating it to be plant based. So not added to it. They just put it becomes part of the plant's DNA. So all plants that are grown, all lettuce or whatever, is going to have it in there. Um, here we go. So researchers aim to develop edible plant-based RNA vaccines. Um, the future of vaccines may look more like eating a salad than getting a shot. UC Riverside scientists are studying whether they can turn edible plants like lettuce into mRNA vaccine factories. Um, Showing that DNA containing the mRNA vaccine can be successfully diverted into the part of the plant cells where it will replicate, demonstrating the plant can produce enough mRNA to rival a traditional shot, finally determining the right dosage. Ideally, the plant would produce enough mRNA to vaccinate a single person, said Juan Pablo Garillo.
There's just way too much information out about the damage that's done, about Fauci's past, about all. I just am not buying into the fear porn. Like, and some people may need to hear that. Wherever you are on your journey, I respect your journey. Just keep looking and reading, look for yourself. But that's not where I am in my journey.
What do you mean?
Some people still might be there where they don't understand, haven't looked, haven't watched the movies, don't know what's out there, don't know about the lawsuits, don't know about what all
Yeah, but
information that has
all
been
that, like we talked
exposed.
about, it doesn't matter. There's
It
lawsuits and
does
things are in
matter.
court, but they still just do it. They still just do it, and then you eat a salad and you're done. You can't turn back the clock. You can't go back in time. You and I both know if we could, we'd have done it a long time ago. It's over.
Who's paying to eat a salad? Oh, there's Charlie's cousin.
I ate a
Um,
salad and paid for it today.
I mean, who's making the salad?
That's what I said. If they did it with the meat for months, you can't go to any restaurant or else. And then there's accidents. After it's deemed unconstitutional. Oh, there was an accidental shipment of that, and we thought it was clean, but it's not. Boom, you're done. You can't turn back the clock. There's the technologies out there now that there's literally no way you can protect against it unless you have comparable technology. I mean, we're talking science fiction where you got to take your Star Trek scanner out, scan your own food to know you're not being slipped it. You know, there's no way to protect yourself unless you have, the same technology to defend yourself. It's ridiculous, and I think we're getting to a point in a time where you have to fight back.
Oh, I agree.
There's like
I
no one
totally
way.
agree. I
No
think
one
that you fight back with the education and looking at being self-sufficient and finding
which is
community
what
to
they're trying to
support
stop. Also, the
and
self-sufficient
shopping
thing.
local. Yeah.
That's what they start. That was one of the first things. The first thing that when they did it is to make people stupid, which they did. We have a generation of stupid people, and then to make people dependent and lazy. And once you get dependent and lazy,
Yes.
you're completely
And
screwed
then
up.
isolating people and having them depressed and
So if there's a
isolated.
look at the problem with the supply chain. Everyone's like, "Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?" It's like, well, I have a garden. We have, like emergency food for just, not even crazy prepper stuff for this kind of thing, but just for a disaster or something like that. We can make it for 2 months. Just on the simple things, rice, flour, whatever we have. Rice and pancake mix is like one of the easiest things you can just put up
Yeah.
and get some canned food, and you're fine.
Hmm.
And if you have a garden, you can make it a long, long time. And then you can go crazy and have a couple of chickens and have eggs or something like that if you want to go like
Well, and
insane.
and watch the Pebbleton Post. They did an interview with this lady who's all about sustainability and all this, and she was giving solutions because the kids live in like an apartment in California,
Mm-hmm.
and so she was like, they were like, well, realistically, like we can't have chickens. She was like, you could have quail
Quails. Yeah.
in your apartment, and they
No
make these incubator things and these
small. They're
little,
little
and
eggs.
they're quiet.
Yeah. It's like a
Um,
pigeon, and people have pigeons on rooftops.
I guess
In the
so.
city. It's just you could
Yeah.
have, and literally it's like two quails. Two
Oh,
quails will give you a small amount of eggs, but it's protein.
right.
It's that last thing, and you can have rice, pancake mix, and canned food. And
Well,
you're
and have you ever been like had you're in Texas, so when the hurricanes come, or you guys get tornadoes down there?
yeah, yeah, real bad. I
Okay.
don't.
Well, I didn't know if you got tornadoes or if you got hurricanes more, because I was in Houston, we got hurricanes, and then I moved to Oklahoma, it was tornadoes. But like there's a bonding that happens, like when we were talking earlier on my channel about the big bad thing, the boogaloo or whatever that would bring people together. Um, in a storm environment or in a whatever, like everybody, it was one of the most fun times in Houston. Like when there was a hurricane, then afterwards the streets were flooded. We'd be out catching crawdads, and all the neighbors, the power's out. So all the neighbors bring all their food out, and everybody's barbecuing because they're trying to cook all the food so it won't go bad.
It was bad, yeah.
And everybody's got their ice cream out. They're sharing
I was
ice
just about to
cream.
say the ice cream.
Yeah,
Everyone's
the ice
eating
cream was the best part. Yeah, all the parents are getting rid of the ice cream. It was like for kids, it was like so much fun. Um, and there was a real bonding because community was like, oh, what do you have? Let's make a meal together, or let's share, let's I don't know, and you're all out of your house talking to each other and whatever. So I think that would be interesting to see, um, you
See,
know,
Jim, that's something that like
positive effect of the
most people
build-in.
don't know. That's one of the things I was talking
Yeah,
about, the dumbing down. Now this is
yes.
like high tier. This isn't like I would expect, even regular people to get, but the dumb down thing, there's no way that anyone
But
comes
that's
near
when
this.
they got away from the farm. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a coating on eggs that lets it. You sit them on the counter, they're good for months.
And
And
in
you put
Europe
them in
and
what,
places
water?
like that, they don't put them in refrigeration.
But you can put them in what's it called? Glassing them or watering them, or
Oh,
you put. I have a
I
jar
know
of
what you're
eggs that
talking.
my cousin baby stick figure gave me. My kids won't eat her eggs because they don't want to eat their aunt's eggs. They're weird. Um, in the chat, you can say what it is when you put the eggs in water with some like lime or salt or something. They're good for like 2 years or something. It's insane.
Oh, wow. I don't think I've heard that.
It's not pickling. It's just water and something else.
Hmm.
I'm sure your mom knows. But and a lot of people have like a giant pickle jar just full of eggs, and then they just kind of
Use
uh,
them as they need them.
yeah, use them as they need them. Um, it's not pickling. They're fresh eggs. You
Hmm.
take them out. They're fresh for 2 years. Uh, they don't go bad. But they have to be farm eggs from the chickens and all that. I forget what it's called. It's gonna bother me now. I think it might be called glassing. Um,
Hmm. Interesting. We'll have to find it.
it's not
If you
vinegar.
know what it is, put it in the comments below so we
Just
can come back
it's
and
just
look for it.
like
Yeah.
water and a tablespoon of lime, or water and baking soda
Lime.
and something else. Yeah, and they're
That would
good
be
for
odd.
years. Um,
Hmm.
but then I wanted to go over this because this hit me every morning when I wake up. I tell the computer good morning.
Why?
I almost triggered the program. Okay, good. It didn't hear me, but because I have a routine, it plays a. This is a big insight into my mind, and it's gonna freak everyone out. But so I have it play Pink Floyd's "Time," where it talks about dying, and you have limited time, and you're dying, so you better basically it helps me wake up. And then what's the other song? And the other was "The Call," uh, like "Seize the Day" or something by "The Call." Anyway, so
Oh,
I'll pick it up. But
good.
I get like quotes, news from certain things, um, and I get news reports from Fox, Reuters, BBC, and I tell you, I always listen for the little things. And you know, Russia blew up this dam, right? They blew up this huge dam. It's terrible. It's flooded this town. It's done ecological damage. It's da da da. Russia says, no, man, we didn't do it. It was Ukraine did it. And first off, a year ago, I said there was going to be a nuclear something. We're
Hmm.
going to break that barrier again, and it's going to happen to make it okay, to make it somewhat acceptable to use nuclear weapons, carbon population, whatever, whatever. And we've been pushing Russia constantly. Everyone's been talking about it, keeps being brought up. Ukraine has attacked Russia. They've gone into Russia
Right.
trying to. I mean, that's like, I don't know why Putin hasn't. That's like unbelievable. Okay. Um, so, Russia took Crimea. If Russia blew this, I'm not taking a side on this, but this dam gave electricity to Russian Crimea. They needed this power from this hydroelectric dam for their war effort. So it literally hurts them to have blown up this dam. That is just a fact. You can take it for whoever you think did it. Um, but what I heard, the little tidbit I got from Reuters when they did this,
Hmm.
that the UN has said that this attack is a specific kind of attack, and it's the same as a nuclear attack. So this attack of this kind, what it did ecologically or whatever the kind of attack it was, because it was the dam and what it did to the people in the town and all that, it's the same level as a nuclear attack. So you're watching a movie, and someone's like, "Hey, we've already done this kidnapping." It's the same crime as if we kill them, and they saw your face. So there's literally we're not going to get any less trouble if we don't kill these people. So of course they kill the people, because once you've crossed the line, it doesn't matter. So now this is the same as a nuclear attack, and that little mention, that was it. That like literally is another push, I think, at least. You've already done this now, Russia. You have already technically used a nuclear weapon, and nothing's happening. Go ahead and do it for real. Use it. I think it's another step in that direction. When I heard them say that this is the same.
But why would Russia use a nuke on their own land that they're wanting to take back?
What do you mean?
Like they're saying that Ukraine is their land, and they're wanting to take Ukraine back if they nuke it.
The scorched earth. If they can't have it, no one will.
I don't say that.
This. I mean, there are saying, okay, so the Ukraine's the breadbasket for all of Europe. This is a major irrigation thing for all this farmland. So this is going to kill so much food production for all of Europe. Or it's worse now. So they're already. I don't know. The dam doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that Ukraine would do it. It doesn't make sense that Russia would do it.
Maybe neither one of them did it.
Once again, look at the facts and you make your own decision. I can understand Russia doing it until I found out that it literally is hurting their war effort, because that's what powers a lot of the electricity in Crimea. So it doesn't make sense that they would do that. I can understand Ukraine doing it to point the finger at Russia, but not that it's going to screw up so much, with their own. I mean, I can't even understand them flooding a town and displacing people and killing people, because politicians are evil, and it's, but not killing all that to where it's going to, hurt the food production. But I mean, they're getting so much. And I was thinking about this today. Can Russia ever win? Because everyone admits it's a proxy war. They're fighting us. They're fighting England. They're fighting Germany. So will we ever let them actually
I think
win?
When our bad guys that are the proxy promoters are gone or taken care of or removed, then yes, then that's when.
Yeah, but
because then it's like you said, that spy meeting that they've all been meeting, and that's probably all the good guys that are meeting.
But trying
to
figure
out how you
hold out as long? And what if that takes 10 years? The war can't go on that long.
How long has it been going on? I mean, this has been going on. Today's D-Day. It never ended.
It did. They went a year. They invaded a year ago. It's been a year, and they've killed so many people. And now they're talking about going.
I'm talking about World War II never ended.
They're talking about putting an offensive into Russia. Russia has done like insane, like D-Day stuff. The defensive positions that they've taken up, what they have done, like engineering wise across their border, it's massive. I mean, the trenches they've dug. If you look into what they've done, it's nuts. This is a big thing. But what if they march through? What if they start? I mean, there's only so many people in the country. After if you're killing 100,000 a year, 100,000 every few months, eventually they're going to be all dead. So I don't know. And it's obvious we don't want it to end. They were going to end it. They were going to have peace. And Boris Johnson made Zelensky back out. That alone shows that he doesn't give a shit about his country. He gives a shit about what
and
Boris Yeltsin wants.
who from our side, that little turtle just went over and visited with Zelensky and said, it's the best money we ever spent.
Yeah.
So there's lots of people that have,
It was the best
an
one I've ever
agenda.
seen. That is so terrible, man.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And and I hate giving Trump props. I really do, because I don't want to be like
His
just
birthday is on the 14th on
I don't want to
Flag
be.
Day.
I don't want to be lumped in on that. Like, oh,
I
you
do.
just love Trump, but he literally doesn't give a shit about anything except that people are dying, and that it's not it's people. It's this town was just wiped off the face of the earth. There's water up to like the third floor of their parliament building there, or whatever, their courthouse. And he's like, I want the war to stop. I want people to stop dying. And the reporter that was interviewing him was like offended by that. Oh, but aren't you for Team Ukraine? He goes, I want people to stop dying.
Yeah, this isn't a football game.
Yeah,
it's about human life. Yeah.
And he tried to say that, and everyone was offended.
Mm-hmm.
It's the dumbest thing, but I think people have become so us versus them.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. It's just like, what side are you for? Oh, I've tried to tell people that, are you Republican or Democrat? Oh, neither. Well, what do you mean? I was like,
I'm a human for humanity.
It's
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like this. And when I heard them say it's the same as a nuclear attack, there's no difference when it comes to the UN and this, the category of this attack. So
that's an interesting way to look at it.
But they're saying, hey, you could use a nuclear bomb. You could have just nuked this place, and it would be the same. We would be reacting the same way. Everything's the same. Okay, you got that? So if you're going to do something like this again, maybe a nuclear bomb. It just it seems like that's the thing that they're trying to push. Because I'm listening to all the news stories everywhere, and that seems to be what the UN is putting out. That seems to be the direction that they're saying, and they're it's very kind of on the side, but I don't know.
Yes, Phil C. He also had world peace for the first time, the most peaceful president ever.
Thank God that he's bringing that up.
No wars.
This is I'm the only president in the past,
No
since,
wars. The most peaceful
Nixon,
president ever.
It had no wars. Not one war started. That should be the biggest thing.
It should be.
Everyone's kissing Biden's ass for everything that he does, and this is like monument. This is historic. The first president in my lifetime that had no wars. Even if we had the what was it? Grenada. It was it lasted a day or two, but there's always some war going on at some time in some president's presidency, and for the first time, we had a president who had no war, no police action. Somalia. There's all these short things that have happened.
No, it's incredible.
And it's nothing. It's not talked about. The Abraham Accords, historic, and he's not given any credit for it. And I don't want to seem like I'm kissing his ass, but he did that. I don't
know that. Why is it ass kissing when somebody does something good?
But it's that mentality. It's like, oh, I'm not going to listen to that person because they just love Trump. And I have friends that do that.
Every person you meet is no one's 100% good or 100% bad, but we can celebrate good things that these broken humans do in this
really
world.
Good things in the Middle
East. We can also hold bad people accountable for bad things that they do. I'm not saying it has to be one or the other.
And we can hold good people accountable for the bad things they do.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A person just is. And we can celebrate the good things and we can hold them accountable for the bad. And I always
I always use this, and it's a terrible thing to say, but it illustrates that. I always say, well, Hitler was a good painter, and if you show someone a painting he did, and they're like, oh, that's a nice painting. It's like, oh, you're enjoying a painting that Hitler did. They get so angry, but it's like, yeah, he's a terrible person, did terrible things, but it's a good painter, you know. And if you've been to Germany, he did a lot of good things for Germany, the Autobahn and other things, like fiscally. But he was
just was
a
a
terrible
very
human.
mentally ill
He
human.
was a terrible human who did terrible things.
Horrible human. Yeah.
There was something I wanted to bring up that. Oh yeah, China. No, was it China? China's killed more people since Tiananmen Square, like our time, than Hitler did, or almost as much. And there's other dictators that are pushing that 6 million. It's like 3 million, 2 million over the past 5 years, 7 years. Africa, people are dying over there constantly, and fights with warlords, and it's just not talked about.
No, it's not.
War sucks, man. It does.
It does.
But yeah, this thing I want to talk
more
about,
transparency.
the Ukraine stuff, the Shangri-La dialogue. You should check.
That was great. Yeah.
And then the edible vaccine stuff is just it's a scary thing because it's like so far out of our control. Like water, I don't drink water from the tap. I haven't since I worked in the water plant when I was 19.
Yeah, you can get pretty inexpensive water filters like those
I have
pure
water filter, but I have I have a digital thing that I check the water all the time, that I drink. It's like in Texas, we have shit water. Like not as bad as Michigan, but like just under Michigan.
Wow.
Same with Oklahoma. Down the south, we got shit water. But yeah, I check my water. I have the technology to check it. And now if you look at the train spills and stuff up there that nobody talks about anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Those people are going to have to buy testing things to test their water from now on. So I think we're going to have to start testing our food for certain things that aren't supposed to be in there. I don't know if we're able to even to trust the labels that are on it. So yeah, be careful.
Be careful, everybody.
Watch yourselves.
For sure.
Buy Bitcoin. Get ready for the
and Litecoin and silver.
Yeah. Just sound money for the digital age, and we need just going back to basics. I think that I think crypto is one of the new basics. And I guess we're not going to talk about the new Apple thing. That's little. It looks cool, but
we can talk about it on Thursday morning.
It's something I got
to run.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all.
No, I don't trust anything from Apple. But I use it.
Yeah, putting it on your head and just looking through it.
No, that VR stuff. I don't like any of that anymore.
The new thing that came out. You know what I'm talking about?
I saw an ad for something, but
yeah, you use all your apps, you do everything, but it's just with your head, and you just use your fingers with nothing on it, so you're connected. So it's a little scary.
Creepy.
Remember to crush the like button. Love y'all. Anything you want to talk about or say before we go?
Just make sure everybody get to Peoria for the meetup on June 23rd. It's free, open to the public. We just want to have as much community that we can have there, and we'll be doing giveaways and talking about freedom and silver and crypto there, and hopefully see you there at Peoria Pizza Works at 3 p.m.
All right, y'all take care.
Valer, jij ging naar het ziekenhuis?
Sam, so this year you announced that you plan to give up $2 billion to high-impact causes that will help humanity. How did you arrive at this amount of money and these causes that you're interested in, and what measurable change do you hope that this money will make?
Hey, hey, hey! What's up, big gun?